In this video, I ask the three same questions to a bunch of different content creators at AdeptiCon 2022. One of the great things about AdeptiCon, besides the fact that it's some of the most amazing painters in the world, some of the most amazing competitive players in the world, you get to see all kinds of different stuff from all kinds of different companies in the the exhibitor hall, and all of the other things that you see at that convention. Another thing that you see is a conglomeration, if you will, of content creators, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, bloggers, Instagrammers, etc. A lot of those folks, and by those folks I mean, me as well, show up there all at one time. And the upside to just being able to kind of meet with them and hang out and stuff like that is, if you're me, you can maybe pull them aside real quick and ask them three questions. So I took a bunch of people that I know from content creation and I asked them the same three questions. And here are the answers.
Adam, I thought you were supposed to ask me easy questions, like what's your favorite paint color and what was the best time about going back to AdeptiCon? What do I need to know about myself before I become a content creator? I think you need to understand really what you enjoy, what really excites you, because if you try to push into something that isn't really where your passion lies, it's going to come across on the camera and the people can see whether you really love it or you're just kind of doing it because you think they should love it. And so if you're not excited about what you're going to do, eventually that momentum is going to stop and you're going to realize this is all just work and it's not fun anymore.
Nothing. As long as you're not depending on this financially or anything, just start. If you happen to get people actually watching and become a little bit more successful, you will learn things about yourself. So part of that is just the dedication to keep on making content after you've had multiple videos not get a lot of views or what have you. So there's an element of dedication there. It is also interesting to see people start to talk about you on the internet, like on Reddit or Facebook or Twitter or Twitch. People just start talking about you when you're not there or not involved. And so there's an element of thick skin that is useful to have if you become a more popular content creator. But you'll either learn about that and it'll be okay, or it won't. But to just make a video or do a stream or make some Instagram posts, anyone can do that, and I encourage folks to give it a shot.
If you have the drive to stick with it, because it's not going to be easy in the beginning, so you have to have the drive to be willing to persevere through the times when no one's listening, no one's paying attention, maybe all you get is negative feedback, and just hoping and knowing that hopefully eventually you will make it, and just being willing to grind until you get to that point.
I think you really need to know what it is about the hobby you enjoy, because there's a lot of people that understand content in one way where it's like, I'm trying to maximize my views and my interactions, but that's not a sustainable way to hobby. If you just paint what you think is going to always succeed on YouTube, you're going to get burnt out. And so if you have a really intimate understanding of what it is you enjoy about the hobby, whether it's playing, whether it's painting, whether it's a mixture, and you just structure your content around that, you'll be able to keep making videos forever. Because if we can't make videos, we can't do our job. And so that's an incredibly important thing to be able to manage.
Oh my God, what a serious question. Are you able to deploy discipline and be self-motivated?
What you need to know about yourself before becoming a content creator is being comfortable in your own skin. If you're not comfortable in your own skin creating content, you'll create this false persona for yourself, and then you'll kind of split your mind and I'm this person online, and then I'm this other person in real life. So that's what I think you need to know about yourself.
I think it's important to know if you can handle disappointment up front, and then what kind of work ethic you have for long-term success, because especially in the beginning, you start making videos, things aren't exactly going to work out how you think they might. So being disappointed is kind of part of that process. I think it's pretty important to know if you can push through. That kind of pushes into that work ethic thing of just continuing and working and making it better all the time.
I started doing YouTube because I didn't know of any women miniature painters on YouTube, and I wanted to be that inclusion. But also, I am a college art professor who couldn't get a job at a college, so I was looking for some other outlet to be able to teach. And finally, I always knew that eventually I was going to make a video about badass women and how I wanted to see more of that in the hobby. And so that was always going to happen, and that's always been very important to me, and I'm very happy that I'm able to talk about that and have people listen and be willing to discuss that topic more in depth.
Yeah, I had a mission. So when I started making videos 6 years ago, there wasn't a ton of painting content that was like scripted and edited. It was mostly just a commentary on someone painting, like a casual thing. And I was familiar with other verticals of YouTube, and I could see what they were doing. And so I wanted to take what they were doing and bring it to the hobby world. And that was my initial mission, but it changes over time, so it's totally different now.
I started and then found my way. So for a while, I like to do projects, so refinishing furniture or miniatures or making like a custom miniatures carrying box. I like to do projects. And for several years, I was taking pictures of all those things and maybe I'll make a Reddit post someday or like a blog post or whatever. And a lot of people do Instagram, a lot of people do Facebook. I decided I wanted to make a YouTube video about like what I've been up to and stuff. And so that's how that started for me. And it did take a little while to find my voice. So my voice is me, but I round off the edges on swearing and all that kind of stuff. But around the 10th video, I figured out that pairing with like some gentle folk music in the background really worked with the videos I was making, and so that kind of became the style. But yeah, I found that as I went, for sure.
Started and then found my way, 100%.
I think the interesting thing about my channel is that I named it, and it sounds like it has a purpose, but really, I didn't start with any kind of purpose at all. I was like, this is what I'm already doing, and I just want to kind of document that and record that, and then it just kind of grew legs, right? And I think that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to make this work, and I leaned into that really hard. So yeah, it was cart before the horse kind of thing.
I didn't start with a mission for my channel. I just started painting, and I just liked sharing painting. With that, eventually I sort of found my way, and it's like, here I am just painting all day, talking to people. And that's sort of recreating like local game store feeling of talking and painting and that sort of thing.
I had a mission, and I often need to remind myself of it. I just want to have fun, and hopefully by the end, maybe you learn something. And as long as I tell myself, if I'm having fun, and at the end, maybe you learn something, well, then you'll come back for another one.
Ironically, getting away from doing eBay miniature rescues into broader content, I really want to focus on highlighting smaller team companies of people that are doing really good things in the hobby, getting people into the hobby or expanding it in new ways, and bring that to an audience that may have never seen that before. I think like doing miniature rescues is really fun, but I think there's so much more out there in terms of like hobby stuff, especially now that everything's growing so fast, that I want to expand into those things. And I'm starting to kind of do that, but you kind of have to introduce that slowly and build in that audience to the core audience that already exists. So it's a little hard, but that's really where I want to go.
I have endless ideas, but like I would love to make a full-fledged game. I would love to make or run a convention, because I have ideas for like painting competitions and stuff like that. And I would love to get more into the manufacturing and the selling of product. Like I love the idea of like making a business apart from YouTube that is like, doing resin casting, selling models. I want to be a part of that industry.
Man, I'd love to do video games. Not just miniatures, because it's fun and easy.
My content right now is, for the most part, just painting during the weekdays, and then the weekends we start doing battle reports. So you can actually play with the miniatures you paint with, which is so incredible. So going from painting to battle reporting is like my expansion of content.
Okay, I think there's two kinds of people in life, Adam. There's the people that look at the horizon, and there's the people that look at their feet. Now, oftentimes people will tell you you should always be looking at the horizon because that's where the future lies. But the problem is, if you often do that, you're not actually taking a step in that direction because you're just looking. But if you just look at your feet and you make sure you don't trip over yourself, eventually you'll look up and you'll be at the horizon. So I'm not really worried about what that future is. I just don't want to stumble and fall on my way there.
The big thing that I want to do is I want to focus more on doing videos for my Patreon community exclusively, because I have built such a wonderful community and I love all of my fans, and I spend so much time working on YouTube that I don't feel like I have enough time to expand to more detailed videos, more Patreon exclusive content. So that's really what I want to do, is to drive more unique options for my Patreon, more unique options for my patrons, and just continue building a bigger and stronger community.
So maybe this is just because I'm here at AdeptiCon right now, but I want to keep featuring all the new stuff that's coming out, from paints to hobby supplies to games to miniatures. I want to keep featuring like a broad range of stuff. So I've noticed this at Gen Con before, and really at any convention I go to. You walk through the vendor hall, there are so many companies that you've never seen before, so many games that you've never seen before. I mean, Gen Con is like, there's 100 games that use miniatures, and at least 50 of them are really good miniatures. Like, and you just get pulled into these display cases from games you've never heard of before, and I would like to show those to more people. Now, as a content creator, of course, you paint Space Marines, you get more views than if you paint Free Blades or Arena Rex or whatnot. But those are awesome miniatures. I want more people to see them. So part of it's just finding a way to tune the content so that I can make videos about smaller games that people might be interested in, to up the hype and to expose creators that deserve it, but also to expose gamers to things they might like. Right now, I'm actually really interested in like the medium-sized games. So Conquest was probably the most fun or most interesting game we were playing and looking at today. And the reason for that is it could be big and it could get enough people to play so that you can actually find players for it. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. We'll see how it goes.
1, 2, 3, folks.